Children up until the age of 4 are operating at the genius level. The same group of children were studied in their early 20s, and only 10% were still operating at the genius, or what I call the brilliance level. And in their late 20s, early 30s, only 2% were still operating at the genius or brilliance level. So the question you have, like I had, is where did this genius or brilliance go? It didn't go anywhere, but it became buried by society that says color within the lines, sit down, give it back, you can't do this. By the time a child is 17 years of age, they have heard no 150,000 times and only yes 5,000 times. And the more you continue to hear what you can't do, where you can't go, and who you can't become, there is a neurological path that is created in the brain that causes individuals to shut down. I have gone through a divorce within the last year, and my 2 children, Daniel and Madison, they are now my greatest joys. Madison came into my office not too long ago, and she said, "Hey, Daddy, what's going on?" I said, "Hey, baby girl, how are you?" And I was preparing to go on a trip out of town. And I was busy scurrying around. I was not totally focused on her. And she says to me, "Daddy, I see you're busy. I'll just come back later." And I said, "Okay, baby girl." And I get on the plane later on, and it hit me that I missed the moment for spending that quality time with my baby girl because I was emotionally clueless and emotionally unavailable. Because I was so busy trying to make so much money that my ladder was against the wrong wall. And their mother said to me, "You give everybody the best of you, but you give us the rest of you, and I don't want the leftovers anymore." And what I recognized, I was modeling something for Daniel and Madison that you gotta go after, you gotta get all this stuff. And I had the house, but I lost the home. I had success, but I had no significance. I had power, but I had no purpose. And I had money, but I had no meaning. And what I discovered, if I continued to model that behavior for my baby girl, that she would marry a joker like me who ignored her like her dad did. So what I recognized is that I had to move from hearing Madison to listening to Madison, because the same letters that spell the word listen spell the word silent. And when I have that time with my baby girl, I'm dialing in, "How are you?" And I'm modeling something for her brother as to how he's supposed to treat a woman. Women don't need us to fix anything. They just want to know, are we emotionally available and emotionally dialed in to know where they are? When it is time for you to make a U-turn and shift into your brilliance, we will have to come to a place where we're willing to do the work. It's not who you are that holds you back from brilliant success. It's who you think you're not that holds you back. And sometimes we focus on who we think we're not instead of who we are. So now I through pain, I'm learning that relationships are more important than money.
What's poppin' YouTube? It's your girl Kumari Deshay. Happy Motivation Monday to you guys. Get your week started off with the right vibes, with the right energy. Get it started the right way, just with some motivational messages and inspiration to navigate your week, navigate your journey, your road to success, whatever that looks like for you. This is what the purpose of Mondays is for. So hit that like button, let YouTube know that y'all are rocking with the content if you did enjoy that message. Without further ado, I am going to jump right into what my message is to piggyback off of this Motivation Monday. The gentleman that was speaking, a very powerful speaker. I feel like anytime we're able to go throughout our life and kind of learn lessons along the way and impart that, it's something that can inspire other people, and it's something that can inform other people so that they don't have to repeat some of the same life lessons that we learn along our way. Like, I feel like our life is not in vain when we're able to take what we learned and pass that on. It shows that there was purpose in whatever road we navigated to get whatever lessons we were meant to get, so that we could pass that forward and essentially create a better world that's worth living in, 20, 30 years from now. I truly do believe that it starts with walking in our purpose. And I think in a lot of ways, even when we go about walking in our purpose, it's so funny. It's almost like if we don't face the challenge of actually getting a leg up, and we actually did manage to get on the side of the street where we're getting the riches, we're getting our finances in order, we're getting our credit in order, we're getting real estate, we're having appreciating assets that we've invested in, all of these kind of, tangible things that are tangible evidence and tangible proof of the hard work and the hard labor that we've been putting in, the time and day in and day out, the eat, sleep, and breathe, and whatever work we've been doing. It's twofold though. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. So if you're not navigating this world and being mindful of your energy and being mindful just in general, I think that we're cheating ourselves. We're shortchanging our own growth, and we're not able to really come into the full essence of who we were created to be, because we get so caught up and wrapped up in certain aspects of what this human life is about. I'm not sure if you guys remember a previous Motivation Monday video, I believe it was last week, an amazing graduation speech that Denzel Washington gave. By the end of that video, he basically was like, you'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. You can't take it with you. It's about what you do while you're here. Watching this Goalcast video back today, it really hit my soul just with a lot of different points that he spoke to. Just at the very beginning of the video, children are absolute geniuses. Imagine the damage you're doing by telling a child what they can't do. Imagine the damage that you're doing just by not being present and mindful. You're conditioning so many of our future leaders, to be a particular way and to have to kind of fight against so many battles and hurdles at such an early age. And I want to shift the narrative and kind of do things a little bit differently. Whitney Houston, rest her soul, she said, I believe the children are the future. Come on, man. Like there's truth to that. Like all those years ago when she said that, I was a baby, and all these years later, like my generation is who's currently stepping up to try to like run different things. Like we are the leaders of the new age, and then the current children, your Z generation Z and everybody that's up under there, like leaders of the future. That's what I'm saying. So it's kind of like if we don't shift the narrative, then how can we expect anything in our future to be worth it? I want to be able to have a world worth living in 20, 30 years from now, something that my children can be proud of, a legacy, a life, a legacy that's worth upholding, or at least try, at least, live my life and lead my life, doing the work, showing that I was actually trying to manifest this vision. I believe that we all have the ability to be lights. It's just a matter of tapping into that. And when you tap into your light and when you walk in your greatness, you unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. You're an inspiration without trying to be, just because you're being the living proof of all that you were created to be, that nobody else can be. You are the living proof and evidence of everything that can be. And I think that's what we need to feed, instead of feeding the propaganda and instead of being indoctrinated by a world that tells you what you can't do. I think it's very important for us to feed love and light. We were all created with divine gifts that nobody else has. We were all created with God-given instincts and abilities that we're meant to use in this world. It's just about what you choose to feed and what you choose to see. There's another point in this video where he mentions, the same letters that spell listen spell silent. Never ever heard that before, and that really hit me as well, just because it's so easy to be like in a room full of people and feel alone, just because your spirit and your energy is not connecting with other people. You feel like there's such a disconnect between the energies and the people around you and who you are at the core. And so because there is no connection there, you kind of retreat inward and you don't really feel a sense of connection with the world around you. I know that feeling all too well. That's not a good feeling to be in. I want to spread love and light because I know what it's like to not have that. I know what it's like to feel like lonely in a room and in a space full of people. So I never want to be the reason that somebody else is feeling that absence. I don't ever want to be the reason that somebody else is experiencing that disconnect. And so I want to be mindful with my energy and with how I carry myself in all walks of my life and in all spaces with all people, and be just deliberate and very intentional with my energy. Be mindful, invest in love yourself, love the people around you, love your tribe. And love is a verb. It's not just something that you say out your mouth because it is what you feel. Love is not just a feeling, it's a verb, it's an action. If your actions are not reflecting your love for somebody, then you need to reevaluate how you're moving in this world and in this life, and in your relationships with people. Just point blank, be the light that you were created to be. Show up for somebody, and when you do show up for somebody, you'll be surprised how those blessings come back. I feel like things are broken down into real simplistic terms. Like when we put it like this, imagine this, right? You're in a relationship with somebody. I'm not necessarily talking about romantically. It could be a friendship. It could be your sibling. It could be a parent to child relationship, whatever the relationship dynamic is. Think about it this way. If a person is pouring everything that they have into somebody, and that person is pouring everything that they have into themselves, who's pouring into this person over here? So that when there's an uneven yoke of energy, then you can't fault a person for doing whatever they have to do to take care of themselves. I think it's so easy to operate in a very independent fashion, when you have to get out here and you have a mindset that, I have to make this happen, I got to get this done. But you can't lose sight of all the things that matter and that make it worth it when you get there. When you get to the top, who are you sharing that with? Where are the relationships that you nurtured to be able to really enjoy that moment at the top? Who are the people that are around you that helped grind, that was with you in the gutter, in the trenches when you was navigating your rags to riches story? Who was down there with you? Who was grinding with you? Who was fighting with you? Who was feeling that stuff with you, you know? You can't be so caught up in the end game and in the end goal that you miss the journey. You know, once you get there, it's going to be everything that you dealt with on the way that you sit back and reflect on and tell the story about. So it's important to be mindful, it's important to be present, and it's important to feed and nurture your relationships and the love in your life. That's the most important thing. God is love. Love is light. When we put energy into love and light, I believe we get that back tenfold. Not necessarily in the ways that we expect. Sometimes in the ways that we expect, absolutely. But I think that when we really feed that, we open ourselves up to receive so much more from the universe and to be blessed by so many entities that we had no idea, you know, were out there to even reach us. As human beings, we're just vessels. You know, like I said, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So we're not going to be perfect. You know, this human flesh is not perfect. You know, it's going to get caught up in all the things that this human life experiences. But that's why the whole aspect of what it means to, I think, navigate life is a mind, body, and spirit practice, because you really do have to align all those components. As a human being, I'm never going to be a perfect vessel. So you try the spirit by the spirit. That's what it's about. You know, when you navigate this road and you put energy into certain things, that energy comes back because there's a life force that's feeding that energy in the world. Just like there's a life force that's feeding all negative energies in the world as well. For everything in life that exists, so this is opposite. So you get to choose what you want to feed and who you want to be. I choose to invest in love. I choose to invest in light. I choose to feed love and light because at the end of the day, that is my life's work. When it's time for me to go home to my Creator, I want to be able to have a feeling like, you know what, I showed up, God. I did everything that you called me to do in this lifetime. And yeah, I care to show up in the world as the best version of myself that I can, for myself and for others and for everyone that I love, and for the world that I envision, you know, the dream that I have for our future in this world. You know, I choose to believe that there's a better world, you know, that we can create. But I don't think that just happens by snapping our fingers and, you know, wishful thinking. It takes action. You know, it takes people actually deciding to be who they were created to be and actually making a conscious decision to say, you know what, I'm going to help you just because I can. I'm going to do this just because I can. I have the ability to, and I'm going to do it just because I can. You know, conclusion, invest in love, be a reflection of love, be a reflection of light, and just show up in the world as the best version of you that you were created to be. Your gift. So just choose to be that because you can. Try to connect with the life force out here. With that stated, I love y'all. I ain't gonna take up too much time, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next video.